Prologue, the shadow of the Rhine. The Rhine River, broad and unyielding, had long been the border between two worlds. To the west lay the Roman Empire, with its legions, laws, and cities built of stone. To the east sprawled Germania, untamed forests, and scattered tribes who prized their freedom above all else. For centuries, the river was a tenuous boundary, but when Rome turned its ambitions toward Germania, it sparked a war that would devastate both civilizations and echo through history. This is the story of that war. Not just of battles and generals, but of the people caught in its wake, on both sides of the Rhine. Chapter 1. The Call to War. Roman perspective. Marcus Tullius Verus was a centurion in the 17th Legion, stationed along the Rhine near the newly built town of Vetera. For years, the Rhine frontier had been quiet, a line guarded more for show than need. But with the appointment of Publius Quinctilius Verus as governor of Germania, everything changed. Verus was determined to bring Roman law to Germania, treating it as if it were already a province. Taxes were imposed, tribunals established, and fortresses constructed deeper into tribal lands. "We are not welcome here," Marcus muttered to his optio one morning, scanning the misty forests that pressed close to the Roman roads. "These trees hide eyes that watch us, hands that wait to strike," his optio scoffed. "Barbarians are brave in their woods, but let them face the eagle in open battle, and they'll scatter like sheep." Marcus was not so sure. Germanic perspective. Brenna. In a village of the Cherusci tribe, Brenna knelt by the fire, her hands blackened from grinding grain into flour. Her husband, Wulfgar, leaned against the doorway, his broad shoulders tense. "They come further each day," he said, staring toward the west. "Roman patrols on our hunting grounds. Roman tax collectors in our villages. How long before they call us slaves?" "Arminius won't let that happen," Brenna replied. The name of the Cherusci chieftain was spoken with reverence. Though he had once served in the Roman auxiliaries, Arminius had returned to his people, vowing to defend their freedom. Wulfgar's jaw tightened. Arminius cannot fight them alone. He needs the tribes united, and that is no easy thing. Brenna turned back to her work, her heart heavy. She had seen the devastation the Romans left in their wake, the burnt fields, the broken homes. War was coming, and she feared what it would bring. Chapter 2. The Ambush. The campaign season of 9 CE began like many others, with Verus leading his legions deeper into Germania. Arminius, posing as an ally, assured Verus that the local tribes were pacified and loyal. But beneath his Roman armor, Arminius was laying a trap. The march to Teutoburg. Marcus marched with the 17th Legion through the dense forest. The trail was narrow, the underbrush thick, and the autumn rains had turned the ground to mud. Legionaries grumbled as their sandals sank into the muck, and supply wagons creaked under the weight of their loads. "The forest feels alive," one soldier whispered to Marcus. "Like it's watching us." Marcus gave no reply. He felt it too. On the second day, the attack came. The tribes struck without warning, arrows and spears raining down from the trees. The Roman columns, stretched thin along the winding path, were thrown into chaos. "Form up," Marcus shouted, trying to rally his men. But the dense forest made Roman formations impossible. From the shadows, Arminius appeared, his voice booming above the din. "For Germania! For freedom!" The aftermath. The ambush lasted 3 days. By the end, the 17, 18, and 19 legions were annihilated. Marcus lay among the dead, his armor battered, his body pierced by a dozen wounds. To the Romans, it was a catastrophe. News of the disaster reached Emperor Augustus in Rome, who reportedly cried out, "Quinctilius Verus, give me back my legions." To the Germanic tribes, it was a triumph. Brenna's village erupted in celebration as warriors returned, their faces smeared with Roman blood. But even in victory, Brenna felt unease. She knew the Romans would not let this defeat go unanswered. Chapter 3. Retribution. Germanicus campaigns. In the years following the Teutoburg disaster, Emperor Tiberius dispatched Germanicus, a capable young general, to avenge Rome. Germanicus led a series of brutal campaigns into Germania, burning villages, slaughtering warriors, and taking captives. Wulfgar was among those who fought against Germanicus. Brenna begged him not to go, but he would not listen. "I will not let the Romans burn our lands without a fight," he said. Brenna stood at the edge of the village, holding their son, as Wulfgar joined the warriors heading into the forest. She did not see him again. The Battle of Idistavizo. Germanicus' most famous victory came at the Battle of Idistavizo, where he defeated Arminius in open battle. Though Arminius escaped, the loss fractured the fragile alliance among the tribes. The Romans celebrated their revenge, but Germania remained unconquered. Chapter 4. The Price of War. Rome's costs. For Rome, the Germanic wars were a drain on resources. The empire spent vast sums on legions, fortifications, and supplies, only to gain no lasting territory. In the provinces, veterans of the Germanic campaigns spoke of the horrors they had witnessed. "They fight like wolves," one soldier said. "They strike from the shadows and vanish before you can turn." Germania's suffering. In Brenna's village, the toll of war was clear. The men who returned were fewer with each season, their faces lined with pain. The fields were barren, the livestock gone, and the forest seemed emptier than before. One night, as Brenna put her son to bed, she whispered a prayer to the old gods. "Let this end," she said. "Let us have peace." Chapter 5. The Long Shadow. Arminius' fate. Arminius continued to resist Rome, but his efforts to unite the tribes faltered. Jealous rivals accused him of seeking kingship, and in 21 CE, he was betrayed and murdered by his own people. His dream of a free and united Germania died with him. Rome's withdrawal. By the time of Emperor Tiberius, Rome had abandoned its plans to conquer Germania. The Rhine became the permanent frontier, and the empire turned its focus elsewhere. But the scars of the war lingered. Roman soldiers stationed on the Rhine spoke of the forests with a mix of awe and fear, and Germanic warriors told stories of their victories to their children, ensuring that the memory of resistance would never fade. Epilogue. Two worlds, forever changed. The Roman-Germanic wars left devastation on both sides. Thousands of lives were lost, villages destroyed, and fields left to fallow. Yet from the ashes, new identities emerged. For Rome, the wars marked the limits of its expansion and the need for a more defensive strategy. For Germania, the wars preserved its independence but at a tremendous cost. Brenna, now an old woman, sat by the fire with her grandson. "The Romans are gone," the boy said. "We are free." "Yes," Brenna replied, though her voice was tinged with sadness. "But freedom has a price." The Rhine continued to flow, unyielding as ever, a silent witness to the devastation and resilience of two worlds that collided and, in their struggle, shaped the course of history. Chapter 6. The Silent Frontier. The Rhine had returned to its uneasy stillness. To the west, the Roman garrisons maintained their watch, their stone fortresses towering over the riverbanks. To the east, the Germanic tribes resettled their lands, though the war had left deep scars. This fragile peace was deceptive, a quiet border masking wounds too fresh to heal. The Roman side, Marcus' legacy. Lucius, the younger brother of Marcus, had joined the ranks of the Rhine legions years after his brother's death. He arrived at Vetera, now heavily fortified and brimming with soldiers hardened by decades of skirmishes. For Lucius, this posting was personal. During his first patrol along the river, Lucius walked alongside a grizzled veteran named Faustus. "The forests," Faustus said, gesturing to the horizon, "are a graveyard for men like us. Do not let your brother's shadow guide your sword." Lucius clenched his jaw. "I did not come here to die. I came to understand why he did." That night, Lucius sat by the campfire, reading Marcus' last letter. In it, Marcus spoke of the tribes not as savages, but as people desperate to protect their homes. "They are no different from us," the letter read. "They fight because they must, not because they want to." The words haunted Lucius. He resolved not to fight blindly but to seek a way to prevent further bloodshed. The Germanic side, Brenna's new world. Years after Wulfgar's death, Brenna's village struggled to rebuild. The war had taken more than lives. It had shattered the rhythm of their existence. The young men who returned bore wounds that went beyond their flesh. The elders whispered that the gods were angry, and offerings of grain and livestock were made to seek forgiveness. Brenna's son, Eric, now a young man, was eager to prove himself. "We cannot live in fear of the Romans forever," he told her one evening. "If they cross the river again, we will meet them with fire and steel." But Brenna had grown weary of war. "Your father said the same," she replied, "and he lies in the earth for it. Be wiser than him, Eric. There is strength in knowing when not to fight." Chapter 7: Shadows of Division. Rome's growing strain. The empire's resources were stretched thin. The Roman legions stationed along the Rhine had become a drain on the treasury, and with rebellions in other provinces, maintaining a stronghold in Germania became less of a priority. Despite the military successes, the Senate and the emperor debated the worth of this frontier. Lucius witnessed the cracks in the empire firsthand. Supplies arrived late, morale wavered, and younger recruits were sent to fill the ranks of fallen veterans. "We are not here to conquer," Faustus grumbled. "We are here to survive." But Lucius saw something else in the faces of his comrades, a growing weariness with endless wars. Many spoke of their families far away, of the farms they left behind, and of the lives they had once imagined for themselves. The Roman machine of conquest, once invincible, was beginning to show its fragility. Germanic fractures. Arminius' death had left a power vacuum among the tribes. Without a unifying leader, old rivalries resurfaced. The Chatti raided the Cherusci, accusing them of allying too closely with Rome. The Suebi sought to expand their territory, clashing with neighboring tribes. Brenna's village became a refuge for those fleeing the